Welcome to the O Brother Podcast with hosts Dan and Mike Smith, brothers from the same mother with different opinions on movies, TV, video games, and more, plus celebrity interviews. Get ready, get set. It's time for the O Brother Podcast. Welcome to the O Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How's it going, Dan?
Good, man. I feel like we haven't been back. I don't know. I feel like we've been off for weeks, and yet that's just not the case at all. We've been pumping out quite a lot of episodes.
Although we are a little bit late.
Not really, because we had like those back-to-back interviews and So, but we find this is an episode we've been talking about for a little while, at least part of it, which is we're going to talk about She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And also we do a little bit of a D23 recap we've talked about. So maybe
what there is to recap.
Yeah, maybe very little. So She-Hulk is of course streaming on Disney Plus. Came out last month in August.
It's in its fifth week now.
Yeah, 5 episodes out as of this recording.
And it's 9 episodes total.
That's right. And it's streaming every Thursday.
Yeah.
It
starts at 10 a.m. I checked that because you would ask me. Yeah, you would ask me, what do they drop it early? And I checked 10 a.m. they drop it.
That's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So September 19th, 2022, when you get in this episode of the O Brother Podcast. But so this is starring. Now, I didn't know, like a lot of these Marvel characters, I didn't know much about She-Hulk. I was a big Incredible Hulk fan.
Yeah, well, unless you were into comics.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know She-Hulk.
No, but it's another
one. I didn't know her at all.
Yeah, you look and you go, oh, it started in 1957? Like,
right.
It goes way back. So, but it stars Tatiana Maslany, is probably butchering that, but we can put it up on the screen at least.
Better than I would have done.
Yeah, she plays Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So we should say She-Hulk attorney at law.
Yeah, that's right. That's the full title.
So can you set up that, like, the premise there behind that?
What do you mean?
It's like a show inside a show.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically this lawyer. She's a cousin to Bruce Banner. She's visiting him in Hawaii while she's on break. They go out. I think they're just cruising around, get into a car accident, and they both get cut open, and his blood goes into her blood, creating that effect that, she can now become a Hulk. Yeah.
The gamma ray type.
The gamma rays got into her system.
Right.
So, Bruce is freaking out, and she's just kind of like, what, and all of a sudden she's, She-Hulk.
Right. And she's like, I can't do this. I have a career. I have a job to do.
Right.
I'm an attorney. How's this going to work?
Right.
And of course, Mark Ruffalo, who we know as the Hulk from the Marvel series, he's in the first couple of episodes so far?
I think the first 3.
First 3. Okay.
And the third one, just a cameo. And we knew before the show, well, I think you knew, but I knew before it was coming out that they were going to break the fourth wall.
Right.
And explain what that is for people that might not know.
So it's basically when the characters in the film or the show that you're watching are engaging the audience, they turn to the camera and they start. It's like Ferris Bueller,
right?
Anything like that. Yeah.
They literally,
you can if you
something
right.
It's like a box, and there's a wall that we all pretend isn't there.
Yeah.
And she literally turns to the audience or to the camera and talks directly to us. Now, I knew that was going to be the case, and I thought, they're going to do that. It's going to be like, they're going to kill it. It's going to be stupid.
Yeah.
But it's done very little, and it's usually pretty funny.
Now, you had said, I mean, pretty much right off the bat, you were because you saw it before me, and then you were like, I'm liking it, I'm enjoying it, whatever, and so I jumped on and started watching it too.
Yeah.
Run down a couple of other players here. So Jameela Jamil
Mhm.
plays Titania.
Which is a bad guy or,
uh,
bad girl
Bad
superhero.
person. Yeah,
Bad
bad
person.
person. Right.
But yeah,
Ginger.
she like has to represent her or go against her or something.
Right. Well, yeah, and I don't know how much we want to give away the spoiler alert
Right.
here, but
Right.
the last episode, episode 5, again as of this
Right.
airing, she has basically um, she's copyrighted the name She-Hulk,
Right.
Titania,
Titania. Yeah, has.
Titania, and she's using it to sell all these beauty products
Right.
and everything. So Ginger Gonzaga plays Nikki Ramos, who is she an attorney or like a paralegal at the firm?
I think she's
They're close.
at best a paralegal,
Okay,
probably her secretary.
her and Jennifer Walters, they're like, close friends or best colleagues or whatever.
Right.
And then Renée Elise Goldsberry plays Amelia, who is an attorney at the firm, who actually ends up representing Jennifer as She-Hulk
In
in the
this
case
in the
against
episode
Titania.
5.
Right.
Right. But they're kind of like, what would you call them? Enemies or frenemies, they work for the same
Frenemies is maybe a good way to
firm,
put
but
it.
yeah.
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 So I got to tell you, I'm still struggling with this one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. And this is a Marvel issue right now, right?
Mhm.
We're hearing very similar things with Thor: Love and Thunder, which I haven't seen yet. I don't know. Have you watched it?
I have.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did watch it. That's right.
Mhm.
In this campiness now that they're introducing into Marvel, or at least it's increasing, it seems like. And so with this one, I have a lot of beefs with this. And
See, I
once
don't think it went down the camp road as much as
totally
it could have.
no, I'm wondering. I have a lot to say about this, and I'm
All
wondering
right.
one thing I'm wondering about is if this was a male dominated series, would
Mhm.
they be portraying the character in the same way? Would it be um as campy and as silly and all of this innuendo, and like it's really kind of over the top? And you mentioned the fourth wall breaking.
Mhm.
There's quite a bit of that. There's quite a
I
bit of
don't think
that.
so at
Yeah, there
all. In
is.
fact, when
Folks,
she
trust me,
does
there
it,
is.
like there was an
Folks,
episode
trust me, there is.
there's an episode, a couple episodes where we have, Benedict Wong, who plays Wong in the Marvel series. He's a guest star.
Mhm.
And she says, she's on the highway and she turns to the camera, takes her hands off the wheel. So she's really breaking the wall and says, this is really about me, this show. Just, I know you like Wong, but the show's about me. And she says, at least it helps me with the Twitter world out there, which I thought was really clever. Like, Twitter bashes everything, right?
Yeah, so
And they're
you
going to
bring in a
bash,
dominant character from the Marvel universe.
right? And
I
she says it right to
I don't
us.
like
Like,
all the time. I don't like it. I don't
well,
like it
tell me what you don't like about it.
because I think it's silly. It's way too goofy. Okay, there's an episode where she's literally Megan the Stallion, for those hipsters out there
Right,
that know
right.
this
Hip hop
artist.
artist.
Yeah, she's in one of the episodes. Literally, they're twerking
I
at
didn't
the end
like
of
that
the
so
episode,
much. Yeah,
and
I didn't
that's
like
just
that so much.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The name of the 5th episode, "Mean Green and Straight Poured into These Jeans."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the objectification and I just wonder if they would be doing it in the same way if it was the Hulk series,
Well,
or again, just a male character.
Well, you got
Just
to look at the
gotta
Hulk, right?
wonder.
We've got a comparison. We've got Bruce Banner. We can compare the two right there. And to me, they handle the characters similar. I think the whole dating thing is just what you're getting hung up on because
No,
that's different. And Bruce, we don't know anything about him. You know, there was kind of a not a relationship, but a budding what we thought was going to be a romance with him and um, Johansson, but it didn't really pan out that way. You know,
Scarlett Johansson you're talking
Scarlett
about.
Johansson, yeah, and her character Black Widow. But I think like I really like this actress. I've never seen her
I don't have anything
before.
against the actress. It's not about that. I just think they're portraying it in a very silly way, like sillier than it needs to be. I get that it's not a drama,
Right.
it's not just a straight drama, but they're going way in the other direction with it, in my opinion. It's just very, 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 goofy is how I
I
find it.
really
And also
I
the CGI is not good. It's not good. Like the way that the movements of She-Hulk and the face, it's not great. And certainly it's weird because as compared to Hulk,
yeah, I agree with that.
it's not as good. Like how
I
is
agree.
and look, I am hung up on the fact that I would much rather an actual person be playing these just because I'm
Right.
used to it from Lou
Right.
Ferrigno days. That's just a
Which
bias that I
which
have.
we'll get to at the D23 thing.
Yeah.
We'll talk
So
about it.
I don't like that again. It kind of waters it down for me because I'm like thrown off by the CGI quality. It's just not good.
And if you put She-Hulk on screen and then brought out 20 women and said, "Which one of these is She-Hulk?" You probably wouldn't be able to pick her out.
Mm.
But if you brought out Mark Ruffalo and 20 other guys and said, "Which one of these played the Hulk?" You know, if you've only seen him in Hulk, you'd pick out Ruffalo right away.
Oh,
So
you mean
yeah,
like the likeness? Yeah.
yeah. So no, you were talking about how the CGI isn't quite as good,
No.
but considering how expensive that is, not surprised. I think she'll get her day in the movies.
Well, but the Hulk in the first 2, 3 episodes, it's just far superior. So why is
I
that?
agree.
They
I think it's a matter of money.
so they're putting all the money towards the male character?
Well, we already know this character. That's the problem.
What's that? Well, all the more reason you'd think that they would put more effort into introducing this new character in the best way possible. And then I
Yeah,
like
but
that you said, she's going to get her due in the cinematic universe. It's like,
yeah,
why couldn't this have started that way?
it could have.
Why is the female starring series go straight to streaming? Then it
Yeah,
gets into
you can't
I
go with
think no, I think you have to be critical like that. I
you can't
do.
go into the sex thing with the
I think
how
you
they
need to.
introduce a
I'm
character.
sure there's listeners that will agree with me. I
I
guarantee.
mean, Captain America,
Hmm.
he's now been introduced not in the movies, but in the
But it didn't
you
start
know.
out that way. Didn't start out
Hmm?
that way. It didn't start out that way. Why couldn't she have
Well,
been
that'd be like
introduced
saying
in
they're
this?
racist because now that it's a
No,
black Captain America, we're going to do it on TV.
no, I'm not saying that. It's just curious to me why she wasn't introduced in the cinematic universe.
Well, I think it's good. I mean, look at all the movies that they're pumping out, right?
Yeah,
Now, I agree with you. I don't need Eternals 2. Give that to She-Hulk and make
right.
a She-Hulk the right way. But I don't think like when I watched the first episode, I thought, wow, they dumped some money into this because I know how expensive it is to, I've seen like videos where they talk about how much each frame costs when Bruce Banner is the Hulk.
Mhm.
So I think with her, because she's in this show more, and she's the main person. I think they had to, put the money. You had to make Ruffalo look like he looks in the movies. Otherwise, people are going to be like right away turned off.
Yeah.
But I think when they get to and we'll see what happens. I bet when they get to the cinematic universe, she will have a lot more detail.
It'd be interesting to see.
And I think, look, we're talking about a girl in her 30s or a woman in her 30s who's dating and what it's like. And I think they kind of portray it, she gets all these chumps for dates, which is kind of like when somebody gets you on a date. But
okay, first of all, I'm not dating, so I'd appreciate if you back up on that.
If you were dating, I
let's edit that out, Anthony. Thank you.
No, keep it in.
All kinds of technical glitches.
I got like
all kinds of technical glitches going on here tonight.
With what? The
freezing on your end, constant freezing.
I'm getting none of it on mine.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Other than my hair's getting long again.
What are you brushing your hair in the middle of the episode for?
I just looked at myself and said I gotta fix that.
I can't believe you just brushed your hair in the middle of the episode.
It was a quick.
Does this audience mean nothing to you anymore?
It was just a quick.
You're just sort of like, whatever, go get a snack, come back later. Well, look, having said all that,
yeah,
I will say it's entertaining. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say don't watch it, but
there's a lot of.
Yeah, but there's a lot of cons with it. It's not as solid as a lot of these other series that have already come out. If you look at WandaVision and some of the others, it's just not up to that. It's not up to par with that. It's just not.
I think it is. I put it up. I think it's a good way for them to introduce a character. She can just show up now.
This episode 5.
Right.
Episode 5. Part of the storyline there is she goes to some underground place where this well-known designer that makes outfits for superheroes.
Right.
She goes and makes a request to get some suits made up that, can adapt to when she expands into She-Hulk and all of that. That whole character, again, way over the top with that.
The like gay guy, you mean?
Okay, probably gonna.
Why?
Anthony, we're gonna edit that.
What's wrong with what I just said?
Because you're making an assumption.
Well,
there's no state. No, we're gonna edit this out because you're making that's a total assumption. Wow. Freezing.
So what was your issue
horrible
with the guy? I'm not freezing at all.
He was just way too flamboyant, like way over the top.
Okay,
why does a fashion? No, there's nothing wrong with saying flamboyant.
Oh no,
flamboyant means no, there isn't. There isn't. That's costuming, mannerisms, and all of that. What I'm saying is, why does it always have to be so campy? Why does it always have to be that blatant? It doesn't have to. Like, how many, going back to what were the films that Martin Short played the fashion designer in the Steve Martin
married
the parents, whatever, the wedding, I don't know what the name of it.
Marrying the bride.
Father of the bride. Father of the bride.
I was all over it.
It's that type of character where it's like, why does that always have to be so over the top? I just think it's insulting.
Well, it's a cheat
to not only the actors, the character, me as an audience member. I just find it insulting.
It's such a small.
It's just so stereotypical. It's
such a small role.
It's not, though. It is. It's not. Okay. Hey, listen. It's my opinion, and I have the right to express that opinion on the O Brother podcast.
And put the phone number up.
Trust me. 407-476-8781.
All right, call if
Taking
I'm
your
wrong.
calls
if
now.
I'm wrong.
What? Hold on. We have a call. Yes, it's Judith from Cincinnati. And Judith says, Mike, you must be out of your mind. Dan, of course, you're right again. Okay. Thank you, Judith.
Yeah, Judith. Well,
So you're saying
But
watch it.
see,
I'm saying, yeah, okay, if you got Disney Plus, watch it. But
I
it's
think
it's
it's
just
much if
okay.
you're a fan of the
It's
Avengers,
just okay. I don't
and
think people are gonna
I think it's
like.
smart. I think
I
it's
think it's
smart
one more.
writing.
It's one more example of how Marvel is just going into this like DC silly territory. And look, I get at the end of the day, these are superhero movies and shows and
Correct.
things, but let's take it a little bit more seriously and not just make it a slapstick kind of situation, which is what it feels like. And I think
Yeah,
you'd agree
and
with that.
I don't with She-Hulk. With some of the
Mm.
movies, yeah. I mean, I haven't liked the last what
All right,
3.
look, you like me when I'm angry, so why don't we transition away from She-Hulk? Anything else to say about She-Hulk?
What? Yeah,
Anything else to say
I
about that?
do.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I don't understand, like flamboyant. What do you know? You can use flamboyant, but I can't use the adjective
How are
of
they the
somebody.
same thing? One does not mean they're not interchangeable.
Yeah, but there's a tendency, right, for people. If you say play somebody flamboyant, they kind of that's kind of like
See, you're
how
you're
they do it.
Anthony's
I'm
gonna have
struggling to
all
say it
kinds of work
no, I'm
cut out for him in
struggling to
this
say it because
episode.
I'm going to be me too'd out of this
That's
joint
what I'm saying. Why don't you just shut up and we'll move on to the next
because
topic?
I said nothing wrong.
You did though.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I did not.
You did. You made an assumption. You made an assumption based on that character's whatever it was, the mannerisms, the voice, the
And
clothing, the
and
acting, right? And you said,
okay,
"What, you're the gay
Tom
character?" Like,
Hanks. Tom
I didn't say
Hanks.
anything about that.
Tom Hanks just came out and said if he was
I
offered the
couldn't play
role,
Philadelphia again, whatever.
right. So you heard that.
Of course I heard that.
Okay.
And I think that's ridiculous.
Okay. So we agree then.
On that point,
I
it's not the same
can't
thing.
play since I'm not gay, I can't play a gay character. That's
You're
stupid.
they're
That's
too you're totally confused.
no,
You're
I'm
totally
not.
confused. Yes, you are.
Okay,
My
tell me.
point, because my point is you made an assumption that the character we're talking about is gay. There's
And
no,
I'm
there's
pretty
no, no, hold
sure.
on.
No,
Pretty
I'm pretty.
sure
Let
you
me finish
can't
the
make an
sentence.
assumption.
You don't
Okay.
even know what I'm
I'm
going to
trying to
say. Let
help
me
you out,
finish
but
the
go ahead.
sentence. I'm pretty
407
sure
87.
that's how it was intended, and I'm pretty sure 90% of the people agree with me when they
I
saw
don't think
that
so.
character.
You can't make, okay. It's irrelevant whether the character's gay or not, I guess is my point. Like that's irrelevant. So why even
Yeah,
mention
but
it? It
because
doesn't
you
need to be
brought it
mentioned.
up.
I
I
didn't
didn't
bring it up.
mention it.
You brought it up.
No, you brought it up. You
I
brought up the
said the fashion
character.
designer. Yeah, and then you said, "Oh, the gay guy is what you said."
Yeah, but no,
I
but
didn't say
before that,
that.
you said why does he have to be over the top? Over the top,
Correct.
flamboyant,
Right.
and
That doesn't automatically equal gay. Like we could list off a whole long list of characters and shows and films that could be considered flamboyant, but they're not necessarily gay.
and we could list the other way. We could easily go the
Sure.
other way.
Sure.
So
But I
jumping
didn't go
on
on record
me,
saying, "Oh, I know that character's gay." That's irrelevant.
just like with the
I'm talking
sexist
about
thing.
the
Come
silliness.
on.
I'm talking about the silliness and just the way to me, the way that character was played was just very over the top. It was just goofy and silly.
I think the show, if you asked me what kind of show it is, it's a comedy first and foremost. It's a funny show. It's meant to be funny.
Mhm.
Now,
Now, if you think that this was launching the Incredible Hulk series on Disney Plus, do you think it would have launched as a comedy first? No. You
I,
absolutely know it wouldn't have. The
no,
the
I
the
agree. I
the
agree. But
Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
the
there
reason the reason is because I know the character of the Hulk from 100
that has
years.
nothing to do with it.
It has everything to do with it.
Had
We
nothing to do with
started
it.
the episode talking about not knowing who She-Hulk was, yet she's been around since 1950.
But that has nothing to do with anything.
it has everything.
You could say the same thing with the Hulk. The Hulk didn't hit the cinematic universe until many, many years later after it had already been introduced into
it
comics.
was the first movie in the cinematic universe was the Hulk.
What's that got to do with anything? I don't see
You
how
just
that's
said he
relevant to the
wasn't
point.
introduced, blah, blah, blah.
No,
he
no,
was
no.
the first character.
Right, but I'm saying we knew that character from the comics years ago, just like She-Hulk.
No, we didn't know the character She-Hulk.
You didn't know the character
Neither
She-Hulk.
did you.
Correct. But
Neither
what does
did
that got to do with
90% of the people?
But why does that have to dictate or determine how the character is portrayed when they're introduced, in this case, in a streaming series? Do you think if you went, now I don't know this, so I'm not going to claim to know, but would you assume that the comic version of She-Hulk from episode 1 in the comics to however long it's been started off comedic? Doubtful. Highly doubtful.
Because these guys researched the heck out of
it.
everything, I have a feeling there probably was. I think some of the gags
I don't think so.
that they use, I mean, it's kind of a funny thing when this person goes from regular size to superhuman size, just like Bruce Banner. And I think if you went back to the origins, I bet they're closely match.
Think about
the
Ang
comic
Lee's.
book.
Think about Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk. And
Yeah.
you remember that was the actor's name is always so close to Bruce Banner. David, why do I always forget?
It's not David.
What's I always
only have the Incredible
it's so
Hulk.
close to the character's name. You know what I'm talking about?
Edward something.
No, not Ed Norton.
No, but it's another Edward.
Oh, is it another
Yeah.
Edward?
You don't have
Really?
your phone?
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll look it up while you're
But
talking.
you remember in Ang Lee's Hulk, it was
Mhm.
very, very much focused on the sort of internal conflict that character was going through based on this sort of hand he was dealt,
Yeah.
right? With having to live that side of his personality or life or being or whatever you want to say. And
Eric, not Edward.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Bana. You're all over the place.
I say Bana, you say banana.
Let's call the whole thing off, shall we?
I think that the
God.
origins are different for the two characters.
Okay, well, agree to disagree. All right, so let's move.
And I'm going to go back to the comics.
Tie this up with a bow, and let's move into D23 so we can wrap this up.
Me tie it up in a bow?
Yeah, I've said on my.
I think it's a great series. If you look at
a great series.
Yeah,
it's a great series.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I think it's at least very good.
Wow, folks.
I would give it like an 8.
Yeah, no.
And I think it's really clever. I think except the one character I don't like that does go over the top. That will, I think, agree with is her assistant, and I don't think she's.
I don't think so. No,
I think she's the one that goes over the top.
That's Nikki Ramos, played by Ginger Gonzaga. I think she's
fine. That's the one character I don't like.
But see, I think she's playing. I think she's playing who that character was written to be. That it fits. It seems like to me.
Yeah, but I could lose that character and I wouldn't miss her.
Yeah. Again, it's not just that, like the CGI, I'll say it again. It's pretty poorly done.
I'll be curious to see the comments on
it's
this
a little
one.
lazy. Yeah, me too, for sure. All right. So there you go. Total split decision on She-Hulk.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I say watch it. Watch the first, give it a chance to breathe.
There's moments of it. There's moments of it that are entertaining. There was a character in episode 4, I forget the name, and she played. How would you describe the character? She was like always like a party girl, a party woman. Like always drunk, and she ends up testifying on the stand. Or was that actually the last episode?
Yeah, I think this is the one
It was
that,
the one with the magician.
oh, where Wong brings her in and out.
You know, what was the flame guy,
Yeah.
the magician?
Oh, I forget what the magician's name
Yeah.
was, but yeah, he was able to do that Wong trick.
Yeah, with the
And
circle of we're
and it was
so
pretty funny watching Wong watching The Sopranos.
that was funny.
I
That
thought
was
you'd
funny.
get a kick out of
It was
that.
funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
But whoever that character was, God, I wish I should have looked that up. But she was really funny. That
Yeah.
actress that played that character. Anyways, all right, She-Hulk. You know, you check it out and you make your own decision.
Yeah. But
And let
watch,
us know. Let us know in the comments of the video what you think about
I
She-Hulk.
think people,
Maybe I'm way off.
I think the first episode is really significant. I think if you like the first episode, you'll like the
Now,
rest of it.
I would say of all the episodes so far, the ones with Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, those are the most enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's probably be
Eh,
just
but
you know
I thought Tim Robbins was Tim Roth. I'm sorry, Tim Roth. I always screw up the names.
you're horrible with names. Yeah. All right, so let's move in.
But let me just finish that point. I thought Tim Roth coming back
Yeah,
and seeing him as the Abomination.
Emil Blonsky.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the whole thing's really ridiculous. He's in one of those high pressured cages, and She-Hulk now has got to get him freed.
Right.
And at the end of he's in 2 episodes. It's like back-to-back episodes. And after it's done, I love the ending. I don't know if you watch the end credits,
Mm-hmm.
but whoever's doing the animation, or it's really drawing. I don't know what you would call it, not animation because it doesn't move, but you see Tim Roth in a bus, waving to the 7 souls or whatever, the 10 souls.
Oh yeah,
He's like, "See you later." That was all a gag.
and that's a good point to make is that there are those kind of typical Marvel post-credit scenes, mid-credit scenes.
Yeah, last night didn't have a post-credit scene.
No, it didn't.
Do you know the name that was on the hat?
No.
Or the mask?
No,
I
but that's
couldn't make
coming.
it
That's
out.
coming next episode. Yeah,
I couldn't make it out.
I'm sure those listening know.
I
All right,
froze it.
All right, we're moving away from She-Hulk into D23.
All
Let's
right.
make this a quick recap.
Yeah.
So, anything stand out to you with what was announced at D23 over the 14 days that they had this thing going?
It was what, 3 days? And they did it. They did a
It was at
2-day
least
wrap up.
Yeah, it was at least 3 days, and I basically looked at the 2-day highlights.
And it's in it for, you should explain D23 for people who don't know it.
You explain. You're the D23
right.
Gold member. Or
I
you
was.
were.
I'm not anymore. I actually, it was in your name.
Mhm.
And it was worthless. You have to pay
quick
$150.
description.
You
Nobody
join
cares.
this club.
Nobody
Shut up.
cares.
Let me talk. Shut up.
Hey, you shut your face!
D23 is like a club. If you're a Disney file or a big fan of Disney, you go to d23.com and you can join this club. And it's supposed to be, it has all these benefits. You get into all these events. It's a sham. Most of the stuff is out in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one thing in Orlando comes up.
Right.
And if you don't, it's worse than trying to get concert tickets for Led Zeppelin, if they came back to being and had a concert and you wanted to get a ticket. Sorry, Charlie.
Always with the topical references.
Well,
yeah.
I purposely said that because that would be a huge seller if they came back.
Yeah, it would be.
But
good catch.
But anyways, one of the things is, but the only thing you get is you get like a magazine. It's a pretty good magazine.
Can we get
not $150 worth?
Yeah.
So you get a magazine quarterly telling you what's coming to the parks, what's coming to Disney Plus, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there were 2 like 35-year-old. Have you watched the D23 wrap-up show on Disney Plus?
I watched there was a day 1 and a day 2 wrap up.
So you watched that?
Yeah, with Ashley Eckstein and
right.
Josh or Justin. I can't think of the other.
They were
person's
like
name,
they're
but-
like 35-year-olds trying to act 20. That's
Well-
great. That's fantastic.
Well, look, I mean, look, I met Ashley and she's super sweet. And
Right,
she
but
is
even
she
you got to
is-
say that was
she's
over
the
the
voice
top.
of us. She's the voice of Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and she's one of the best ambassadors for Star Wars on the planet. But it's funny you mention that because, but look, I give him credit. I couldn't bring that energy, but I felt that it was a little,
It was
a
stupid.
little too much. It was
Because
a
what they
little
would
too
say is they would say Indiana Jones 5's coming. I love Indiana Jones. Do you really? Let's take a look. And of course they'd show a clip and then they'd cut back to him.
That's
Oh
very
man, that's so cool. That's
okay,
great. I can't
not
wait to go see.
not quite like that, but that's Disney. That's the Disney way.
I know,
you
but
gotta. I know. I
good
don't like it
Lord.
either. I'm not a big
Good
fan. But can we
Lord.
get into what
Okay.
stood out for you? There was so many things announced. Like here's what's coming in 2028. Streaming in 2027.
Yeah,
Like,
but
you know, they've literally covered the next 2 years
in I guess in film.
and streaming.
Yeah,
Both.
but the parks, they didn't even say anything about the parks.
No.
And there's
Well,
a
because
whole day.
they're not paying any attention to the parks.
Right. Well, that's Chapek because there's a
Yeah.
whole day dedicated to the new
Right.
rides. Remember, if we remember before the pandemic, they announced an overhaul, something you and I
Mhm.
had been screaming needed to be done
This was for Epcot Center.
for
yeah.
Epcot.
Right. And it's since been
Epcot
scrapped. Right.
is in ruins right now.
Yeah.
And there's, I was just watching a Walt special with him talking with the cane
Mm-hmm.
about, the experimental prototype community. It'll always be changing, always be new, always be fresh. I need to sit Chapek down, slap him like he's Mo Howard, and say, watch this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but they did nothing on the parks. That was
They
the
didn't.
biggest takeaway for me.
I'm gonna do a real speed round here. Okay.
All right.
And I'm just gonna all the things I wrote down that and there was more, but these are some of the things. Haunted Mansion coming in 2023, starring Jamie Lee Curtis. Snow White, another live action, which I love the point you made the other day to me
Yeah.
offline, which was, all these live action now making me think maybe they've run out of animation creativity at the old
No,
Walt Disney Studios.
the way I put it, exactly, because I think it's perfect.
Mm.
They are entertainment. No,
Bankrupt.
They are
Yeah.
they are bankrupt. for
Creatively
ideas.
bankrupt when it
Creatively
comes-
bankrupt. Thank
Yeah.
you, Dan.
So Snow White is interesting because Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman is going to be in
Right.
that, and also Rachel Zegler, who was in West Side Story that we did a episode on. She's new to the scene, but yeah, of course now she's blowing up since she starred in West Side Story. She's going to be in that.
Oh,
with Gal.
okay.
She's in
I
that with
thought
Gal
I-
Gadot.
for
Played
some reason,
Maria.
when you
She
said
played
West
Maria.
Side Story, you know what I heard?
No.
Westworld.
Oh, Westworld. Yeah.
And I'm thinking through the characters.
The Lion King prequel called Mufasa something, King, whatever. That's not until 2024. Snow White, same thing, 2024. Hocus Pocus 2. I never saw Hocus Pocus 1,
And
but
no-
it's got a huge fan base. though.
I know.
There's a
I
lot of
know.
people that are like,
And they look the same.
Yeah, that's actually coming September 30th of this month. Little Mermaid, another live action, coming
And
2023.
that's getting a lot of heat because
Mm.
there's a lot of hate at Jodie Benson right now because who's playing Little Mermaid?
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry.
Mm.
So they show Halle Berry swim up singing, part of this
That's
world.
not Halle Berry. That must be a younger. She must play her older or something because that's not
Oh,
Halle Berry.
She's starring in it.
Yeah, but is she playing the Little Mermaid?
I
don't
thought
think.
so.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I thought that was
no.
all I know is all the hate is going towards Jodie Benson, who's the voice of Ariel in the animated. And I don't understand why.
It makes no sense. But all right, let's just keep moving forward. Peter Pan and Wendy is going to be straight to Disney Plus. That's coming. The next Pixar release is going to be Elio, Elio.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Wish. So speaking of West Side Story, Ariana DeBose,
Mhm.
who won an Oscar
Yeah.
for her role in West Side Story, she was incredible.
She was great.
She's going to be in a movie called Wish. That'll be out, and the Santa Clauses that's coming in
Right.
November,
Tim
which
Allen.
I have not seen any of them, but again, I know that's a
Did
really
you see the
popular
Peyton
franchise.
Manning?
No,
You didn't see the Peyton Manning tag?
no,
So what it is Tim Allen
I've seen
announces
I've
he's.
seen the Brett Favre tag lately, but that's a whole nother
You'll have
story.
to tell me about that
Okay.
offline. But there's Tim Allen. The story is Tim Allen is going to retire, so he's
Okay.
interviewing people to take over,
I like that premise.
and he's interviewing Peyton Manning.
That's funny.
And Manning and he goes,
I like it.
okay, let me hear your ho ho ho. And Peyton Manning goes, ho ho homaha, which he used to
That's
say.
funny.
And Tim Allen goes, that's not bad. And Peyton Manning goes, oh, I'm just gonna rub this in Brady's face.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Peyton Manning is a very funny guy.
he's a funny guy. He
got
could be
good
a Saturday
comedic-
Night Live cast.
Yeah, he's
member.
got. Go back if you've not seen him on
Oh,
Saturday Night Live. Some of the
killed
funniest
it.
skits. Yeah.
Killed it.
Michelle Yeoh is going to be in something called American Born Chinese, which looks really good. And then, of course, Marvel's Wakanda Forever is highly anticipated. I know it. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. That's going to
They
be very
didn't
difficult.
even. I know they did in the room. They had to.
Oh,
But
they talked about him.
yeah, they
Oh,
didn't.
absolutely. They all talked about him.
In the thing I saw, I didn't hear much.
No, they
but
talked about him. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think you got to say something right up front about it. What happened?
in the film, yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming November 11th. Fantastic Four, which I could care less about. That's coming at the end of November.
Did they say who's playing the characters?
No, not that I saw. No, they
Because-
just talked about who's directing it, which is
Because
Matt
we've
Shackman.
seen Mr. Fantastic, right? In the was it the no, it was in Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
Remember?
Yes,
And who played
John
him?
Krasinski.
Right, but I heard
Yeah.
he's not playing him.
Yeah, I hate.
And
when
they just
do that.
and they just chalk it up multiverse.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
That's all they do. Everything's it's a different
Captain
character,
America,
multiverse.
Captain America in a New World Order. That's going to be out on November 3rd, 2024. Ant-Man and Wasp is coming in February of next year. With the interesting thing about that, Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas is coming back
Correct.
in the Ant-Man and Wasp. Werewolf by Night, I think, or Werewolf
That
by
looks
Might.
so
Is it Werewolf by Might?
by night.
Oh, it is by night. That's Marvel.
It's horror. It's weird.
Yeah, that's Marvel. It's very interesting.
I don't know.
Secret Invasion Marvel, Loki 2. I still
That's a
haven't seen.
TV series.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Loki. Daredevil, which I'm not interested in. And then, of course, maybe the biggest was Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
which will be out June 30th.
What was your comment about that?
Indiana Jones?
Let's get the phone number up.
Oh, Harrison Ford?
Yeah, what was your
I
comment?
just said, well, you know what it was Harrison Ford came out at D23
Mhm.
and he introduced, Indiana
Yeah, I
Jones.
got a little emotional.
They showed a clip, he got really emotional, but I was like, God, he's aged quite a bit,
I thought he looked great.
I mean, look, for his, yeah, I mean, who am I to say? But I don't know. Look, I'm a Star Wars kid, so it's my
I
Han
thought it was
Solo.
funny.
I think
'cause
it's more one of those, geez,
he
mortality
said,
thing.
he goes, now
It's-
this is the last one.
it's
And the
moving.
crowd was like, no. And he's like, I'm not falling down anymore for you people.
Yes, he's
I thought
taken
that
a
was
lot
funny.
of bumps and bruises. All right, so there's just a laundry list of things coming from D23, but honestly, I think to your point earlier, because there was nothing about the parks, I'm kind of like, okay,
That is
I haven't
usually
I haven't been to the parks
I
in
know.
quite a long time.
And that is usually the biggest thing people are looking forward to at D23
Mhm.
is what's coming, what new rides. Tell me about, and we know they got
It's how
Tron
it's how it
coming
used to
and-
be. That's how it used to be. But
but
it's
good
a
Lord.
yeah, it's a whole new Disney now. So, all right, well, listen, She-Hulk. Very fascinating conversation about She-Hulk.
Big thumbs up for
Mike
me.
with the thumbs up. I say, it's entertaining. If you got Disney Plus, yeah, check it out. But it's definitely leaves a lot to be desired. I'll say that. D23, honestly, it's a yawn fest for me. Nothing really
terrible.
And it was pretty bad. So there you have it. But before we wrap up, all right, we get a little business in. For those of you that are not currently following us, make sure that you do. And the easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our Rexer will love this. When we hold up our mug
Yeah.
and show the website, which is OHB as in brother podcast.com. That's ohbpodcast.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. For those of you that have subscribed, thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Like our videos out there, share the videos with your friends and family, get them to subscribe. If you
tell us what you want to see for content, we'll be happy. We did a whole episode based on one of our most loyal watchers.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best episodes
Can I finish?
we did.
Can I finish? Can I finish one
Can
time?
I finish? Can I finish?
Can
I finish?
That's just me doing Carvey doing Ross Perot.
That's right. And that was me doing
Carvey doing Ross Perot. Yeah, it's pretty bad. We're also, if you prefer to stream the show, we're streaming on all podcast platforms. So make sure that you look us up out on your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
but then
Amazon
they'll miss
Music,
me combing my hair.
iHeartRadio. I don't think anybody's going to miss that, quite honestly. That's probably a reason to stream and not watch.
Yeah. And they won't get to say, hey, he looks like Elvis.
Wow.
I just had to bring that in.
I did. We went back into the archives, pulled out some old
photos,
some old stills, and I see
there's
it
some
in there.
that are, it's scary.
There's some Elvis buried in there. Absolutely. Yeah.
But when I was like 15, you have to go back to when I was 15.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, 10-year-old Elvis. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Oh Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith.
What's coming up? Before you wrap it up.
We're not, I'm wrapping it up.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not talking about what's coming up because
why
you can't
don't we
commit.
do an old
because
brother
when shit
23?
goes sideways, then we don't know what's coming up. Can we just wrap up this episode? It's already gone way too long.
I thought an old brother 23.
And I think folks would agree with that. Okay, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. I don't know. I guess we'll see you next time.